Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the rugged and historical region of Fort Tejon, California, a fascinating area located at the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley. About 50 miles northwest of Los Angeles, and nestled near the Tehachapi Mountains, this location provides a unique blend of topography, climate, and wildlife that creates beauty and danger. Fort Tejon is surrounded by rolling hills, covered in oak woodlands, mixed with chaparral, all under the watch of towering Tehachapi peaks to the south. The climate here is Mediterranean, meaning the area experiences hot, dry summers, with temperatures that can soar into the 90s, or even hotter. Contrasted by cool, wet winters, snow is common in the higher elevations, adding another layer of challenge to living in this harsh yet beautiful land. In 1837, this region was a wild frontier, and the mountains were filled with grizzly bears. The vast landscape was mostly untouched by modern development, populated primarily by indigenous tribes, frontiersmen, and trappers who braved the wilderness in search of resources. Today's bustling freeways and polluted air were preceded by an open frontier fraught with danger and adventure. The local plant life was dominated by coast live oak, sycamore, and chaparral shrubs, which provided cover for a variety of animals that called the area home. In addition to small mammals like rabbits and squirrels, the large fauna included deer, mountain lions, and the region's apex predators, grizzly bears. These bears, often referred to as California grizzlies, were much larger and more aggressive than their black bear counterparts, weighing upwards of 800 pounds and standing over 8 feet tall when on their hind legs. The fort itself, now a historic landmark, was built much later, in 1854, to serve as a military post for the United States Army, which was tasked with protecting settlers from attacks by hostile Native American tribes. However, in 1837, the area was untamed and full of dangers that lurked around every corner. Today's story involves one of those dangers, a fatal encounter between Peter Lebec and one of the region's formidable grizzly bears. On October 17, 1837, near Fort Tejon, Peter had set out to hunt him one of the giant grizzlies that roamed the territory. His exact age and occupation remain a mystery to historians, but some speculate that he might have been a trapper or a frontiersman, given the time period and ruggedness of the area. Trappers in the early 19th century often ventured deep into the wilderness in search of fur-bearing animals like beavers, which were highly valuable at the time. These men were well acquainted with the dangers of their profession, and they faced not only hostile wildlife, but also extreme weather, rough terrain, and occasional conflict with Native American tribes. Lebeck's story lives on thanks in part to the gravestone that was found much later, inscribed with the chilling words, "Killed by bear." This simple epitaph suggests that Lebec was alone at the time of his death, or was found shortly after the attack, his body likely bearing the brutal marks of the grizzly's powerful claws and jaws. It was worth noting that grizzly bears were highly feared by early settlers and trappers in California. These bears were known for their immense size, territorial nature, and ferocity when provoked. Unlike black bears, which tend to avoid human contact, grizzlies in this region were not easily deterred and were far more aggressive when threatened or surprised. Given the year of the attack, it's possible that Lebec was one of many men who traveled west during the early stages of American expansion into California, long before the gold rush brought waves of settlers into the region. Life on the frontier was harsh, and even the best prepared individuals could fall victim to the untamed wilderness. The events leading up to Peter Lebec's attack are largely unknown, but we can infer some likely scenarios based on the historic context and behavior of grizzly bears. In 1837, the California wilderness was largely undisturbed by human activity, providing the perfect habitat for the state's largest population of grizzly bears. These bears were known to roam vast territories in search of food, particularly in the fall months, when they would aggressively fatten up before the winter hibernation season. It's possible that Lebec encountered the bear during one of these feeding periods. Fort Tejon was surrounded by open grasslands and oak-studded hills, a landscape where bears could easily remain hidden in the dense brush until the last moment. Given the bear's predatory nature, Lebec may have inadvertently stumbled upon it while the animal was foraging for acorns, berries, or small game. Grizzlies, especially when surprised or feeling cornered, are known to attack without warning. It's likely that Lebec, armed with only basic tools or a simple firearm, typical of the time, had little chance to defend himself against such a powerful adversary. Historical accounts suggest that the bear inflicted several injuries, likely mauling Lebec with its enormous claws and delivering powerful bites. Grizzly bears have a bite force of over 1,000 pounds per square inch, capable of crushing bones with ease. The attack would have been swift and brutal, leaving Lebec with little chance of survival. The region's isolation and lack of advanced medical care meant that even if he had survived the initial attack, he would have been far from help, succumbing to his injuries shortly thereafter. Peter Lebec tragically did not survive the encounter, making him one of the earliest documented fatalities from a bear attack in California. His gravestone, discovered decades later, remains one of the few pieces of evidence of his existence and his fatal encounter with the grizzly bear. As for the bear, its fate is unknown. In the 19th century, it was common for local hunters or trappers to seek revenge on bears that killed or injured people, so it's possible that the bear was hunted down in the days following the attack. However, no records of such a hunt exist, and the bear's age, health, or whether it had cubs remain a mystery. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon offers ad-free early access to our episodes for just $3 a month. Your support goes a long way in helping us continue to make educational and entertaining content like this. The California grizzly, once a symbol of the state's wildness and power, was driven to extinction by the early 20th century due to overhunting and habitat loss. Today, the story of Peter Lebec serves as a reminder of the dangers faced by those who ventured into the wilderness in search of fortune or survival, and the small town of Lebec still bears his name. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Could Lebec have avoided the attack if he'd carried a more advanced firearm, or if he had been accompanied by other trappers? Was the bear's aggression due to hunger, or was it possibly defending a territory or cubs in the vicinity? How would modern safety measures such as bear spray or better understanding of bear behavior have influenced this encounter? Peter Lebec's tragic death in 1837 is a haunting reminder of the unpredictable and often dangerous interactions between humans and wildlife. In a time when the wilderness was largely unexplored and untamed, even the most seasoned frontiersman could fall victim to nature's fiercest predators. I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We've slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.